I was talking about before, and I was talking about cats and dogs are perceiving things that are there that we don't perceive. So if we look at this scale going all from level 20 all the way up to 1000, they're all here in this room with us right now. They're different frequencies. In the same way, I love this analogy that a radio works. If we had a radio in this room with an antenna, that antenna would pick up whichever frequency we turn the dial on the radio to. But every radio station is playing in this room right now. We just can't perceive it. So if you think of the radio, that's like our senses. And turning the dial is using your senses to like narrow in and choose one frequency that is existing out of the many frequencies that are existing. So with a lot, or I don't know, I was gonna say with a lot of plant medicine, but my experience is with psilocybin. But my point is, it opens you up to experience frequencies that you normally are closed off to. Because there's every frequency is here in this room right now. And our brain and our ego, like I said before, our ego is the filter that we experience the world through. So our brain and our ego are filtering out the ones that aren't relevant to what our ego wants to experience. So right now in this room, there is like joy and peace and love. And if my ego wants to focus on me feeling bad, it's not going to allow me to dial into those frequencies. It's going to keep my frequency at, grief or fear or wherever it wants to, because the ego is going to have a lot more control at the lower levels. So if your ego can trap you in a loop of fear, you will never realize that there's nothing to fear because you're stuck in that loop living through your ego. So when during that ceremony, I experienced all the emotions at once. And what I realized is that I basically had the conscious ability to turn the dial. And I was able to choose in the moment, happiness, sadness, fear, apathy, joy, love. It was just all there. And I would just sit there and experience them all together. I was laughing uncontrollably while I was crying, while I was like unbelievably content, while I was scared, while I was sad, like all of these things at once. And then whenever I wanted to, I could just pick one. And I could just go and I could bounce in and out of, like, I was just turning the dial on the radio and like turn it up, turn it down, turn it up, turn it down. It was like just realizing that these things are all available at one time. But it does come down to, like you were saying, like doing the work and like it's tuning your body to be able to tune into the higher frequencies that we would prefer to enjoy, rather than getting stuck on that loop of like the ego controlling us through a certain level of fear or whatever it is.
Yes.